This conference will now be recorded.
So I know my buddy Franco's on the line. So good morning, Franco. It's good to have you on
Good
the line
morning.
as always. Huh?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. How you
Yeah.
doing, Pascal?
Man, I'm doing really good. I had a long weekend, and I'm gonna tell you guys about it. So basically we're starting the call right now, folks. Just so you know, just FYI, the call is starting, and I'm gonna start the call by talking about my weekend. So
Well,
it's important actually because so over the weekend I went to a conference. So my business partner and buddy, a friend, Denise invited me to a conference over the weekend called the Think and Grow Rich Legacy Tour, right? And so this guy that she works with in her insurance business, a guy by the name of John Shin. John Shin, I don't know, he does something like $6 million a month or whatever in the insurance business, crazy numbers. And so what he's doing is he's really into the Think and Grow Rich book and all that stuff. And he's actually he got a contract from the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and was able to write a book called Think and Grow Rich: An Asian Choice, right? So his version of, because there's a lot of different versions of Think and Grow Rich. And so long story short, he wrote the book, and then he went back to them and was saying, well, hey, look, I have the money, I have this, that, and the other. I have the employees, the ability to do it. So he wanted to put on a 50 city, 12 country tour where they're talking about the principles of the book Think and Grow Rich. And so I really wasn't going to go, simply because, honestly, you've been to these different things and you kind of say, okay, well, I've been to one, I've been to them all. And the truth of the matter is that I don't know, you just get to a point where you're kind of like, I've heard all this stuff before. And the truth is, a lot of it I have heard before. I can probably say, 70-80% of the stuff they were talking about I have heard before. But the thing is, about all the different things that they were talking about, how to develop you, how to make you bigger, better, and quite honestly, wealthier, right? All that stuff, even though I've heard it before, what I came away from the 2-day conference that they had at the Anaheim convention was, I've heard all that stuff, but I'm not using any of it. So, knowledge that you have between your ears that you're not using literally doesn't mean anything. And so they had people there that were really well off. I mean, John Shin hangs around a lot of folks that are doing very, very well. So one of the people that one of his buddies is this guy, Dr. Dorfman, and some of you might remember him, or, may or may not remember. He used to be on this reality TV show called Extreme Makeover. He was the dentist on there, and this cat is worth, in excess of $100 million. And, so he was explaining he didn't make any money from the TV show doing his cosmetic dental surgery on people's mouths, but he made an agreement with them is that they would promote his tooth whitening products, which is Bright Smile. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of that Bright Smile. You've seen the commercials and all that crap. So you put the little plastic deals on your mouth, and then overnight your teeth get a little brighter. You do it the next night, your teeth get a little brighter. So he and his partners created that Bright Smile product, and another product called Zoom whitening, where you go into the dentist and they have the little machine and they hold it over your teeth and it whitens your teeth. So two different products that are literally, $100 million products. And so he's doing very well. Then he has the guy that created 24-hour fitness there. And I guess the guy is now semi-retired or what have you, and just goes around and does lectures. So this guy is, 24-hour fitness is huge, and somebody's making a lot of noise, and I really need you to stop making all that noise. So, so the whole deal is that I really don't want to, whoever's making all the extra noise, I really don't want to mute you, right? I want you to respect the call. So the point is that ultimately, what I took away from that conference is a couple of different things. From the speakers, this is what I took away, is that, I have all this knowledge, just like everybody on this call that's been in business, around business, or have just lived for over 30 years. Each one of us knows so much stuff. We know a lot of this stuff that they're talking about, focus. If you have focus, you move forward. You focus on one thing, not 50 different things at a time. You're going to move forward. You're going to advance, right? Get that thing right first, and then, you can do other stuff. But so that is a big thing, focus, your plan of action, all this different stuff that you already know. So I'm not going to sit up here and go over it. But the deal is, if you're not using any of it, it means absolutely nothing, right? And so that's what I took away from it for myself, is that, I have like this vast amount of knowledge. I've been in business for a long time. I started my first business when I was 16 years old, which is a promotion business. We used to do dances and little mini concerts and stuff. And it was, it was called Players Productions back in the day, myself and two buddies of mine. And it literally comes down to, you already have everything that you need right here, right now, in this very second in time, to do these really awesome things. And what makes you guys even better is that because you've been around for so long, you've been doing business for so long, you've been around business for so long, and have dealt with other business people for so long, is that you also understand that whatever you don't have, or the bits of information or knowledge that you don't have, you know how to go out and get it, right? And that's all of us on this call. We know how to go out and get this stuff. That's what separates us from people that just talk about doing business, from people that, it's always a dream somewhere down the road to get in business, to do their own thing, to make some stuff happen in their existence. But for you guys know, right? You guys know all this stuff, but our problem, in yours and mine, is that we're not utilizing, we're not taking advantage of the knowledge that we have. And I'm saying you guys as well as myself, because I would assume that if you're listening to me, and you've been listening to me across these many months that we've been doing these Power Monday Mastermind calls, and because of the subsequent emails or conversations I have after the calls, that you guys are just like me, right? So I'm making a broad assumption because of the conversations I have with people from the calls, right? So I'm assuming, even though I don't talk to everybody after a call, but the couple of few people that I do talk to, and they're when I speak with them, I grasp that they have a great understanding, but they, like me, and so I'm assuming the rest of you, we just don't use all this knowledge that we've developed over the years. We're not focused as we are supposed to be. So I wanted to put that out there because I think that is extremely important. That my takeaway anyway from this 2-day conference and watching all of these people that have taken their businesses and have made, in some cases, just millions of dollars, and in other cases, hundreds of millions of dollars. And in I want to say, in one of the people's case that was up there on stage, they sold their business for $1.2 billion. So, crazy numbers, right? Crazy numbers. But it always came down to that one thing. And that one thing was that they found their thing. They locked in on it, became focused on it, right? And then they just worked that crap to death. And one of the things that one of the other big takeaways that I had from this conference was that these people have failed so many times at business, it's not even funny, right? I mean, all of them, none of them were just like lucky out of the gate, None of them were just lucky out of the gate. But so they had to take their circumstances and flip the script, right? So if they put in time, effort, energy, money, what little money they had in their beginnings, and just really put into their business, the magic of it was that they would either succeed faster or they would fail faster. And there's something awesome about failing faster because that crap is just not going to work for you, right? So if you put your effort, your time, effort, energy into something, then you just mash it out, you're just like killing it. And then it just, no matter what you do, and you give it a really honest effort and honest trial period, no matter what you do, the crap just doesn't want to work out. Well, now, that, okay, you gotta, change your game plan. You have to shift somewhere along the path because that specific path is not working, but that you put everything into it subsequently, and found that it's not working. And so you have to not, scrap everything, but maybe deviate from the strict path that you were going down, deviate. Like, and I'm gonna give you guys an example of something in just a moment, with which is going on in a business that I'm starting with my son. It's all about being able to pivot. So I don't like to use sports analogies because I'm not really a sports person, but the what comes to me is when you're watching somebody and they're running down the court with the ball, and then there's a couple of people on the opposite team that are in front of them. They have to pivot, so their intent might have been, they're gonna go down this line and go to the basket or go to the goal, whatever the hell. And but then you have the opposing team that the defensive linebackers or the whoever, the guards, if you're talking about basketball, and so that person that's taking the ball down the field has to subsequently pivot and deviate a little bit to the left or deviate a little bit to the right. Same goal in mind, but you sometimes have to deviate because you'll find that different stuff is going to come up. And when that different stuff comes up, if you keep on trying to just push or push against that wall, you're screwed. And so many of us, including myself, will just continuously push against the same wall and trying to make something different happen, while you're pushing against that wall, and the shit just doesn't work, and I'm telling you from my own personal experiences. So, I've had to learn to deviate my plans, and quite often I will deviate my plans and get around that blockage, get around that wall, and still find that specific business in and of itself isn't worth crap. You know what I mean? Or at least it's not going to do or give me the return or reward that I'm looking for the effort that's necessary for it to work. So in some instances, I've had businesses like you all have had, where you've got them to generate some money, you've deviated, you've pivoted and moved to the left or to the right or what have you, or went over the wall, whatever it took, just still to find out that even deviating multiple times is still just not a fruitful business, right? And that's okay. Because you're an entrepreneur, because we're entrepreneurs, we also understand that sometimes you have to, move to some, greener pastures, if you will, right? And I'm not saying walk away from something that you, I want to make that clear, that you know, does have potential, because you can see other people that are doing it and reaping the rewards, and you know that they are no smarter, no brighter, no better than you are as a human being. So you know that in some instances it's just going to take more of a push, more of your energy, more focus, right? Focus, more focus to make something happen, then you're going to have to do that, right? But if you just, so I want to make sure that's clear, but simultaneously I will also want to make sure that it's clear that if it is something that you have literally put your heart, your soul, your effort, your energy into, and it's not working, then pivot first. Pivot. Find out what somebody else is doing in that industry to make it, and and they're making, the profits that you want to make, and then follow their lead, right? Because we always have to follow or get coaching from somebody who's doing what we're doing, but they're better at the game, and you got to spend that time, effort, energy, and money to associate yourself with people that are doing 10 times better than you. So, like, I'll go back to this insurance thing that John Shin does. I was listening to his story, and this guy was talking about when he was out there starting his business, how he would not go home until he had a sale, right? Or until he had a really good prospect. And I was just thinking, dude, how dedicated was this guy? He was saying how that he would hit all the Denny's. He would do his stuff during the day, and then he would go and just anywhere he could find people, he would literally go and just, make a conversation, just, start a conversation, then introduce his business to these individuals. And then if he didn't have anything, that was popping during the day, then he would continue on through the night. And he used to say that his wife would call him, and his wife would say, "Hey, when are you coming home?" And he would say to her, that I'm not coming home until I get a positive lead or I get a sale. I'm not coming home until I get a positive lead or get a sale. And, she would call him like at 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night. She would say, "Where are you?" And the dude would say, "I'm at Denny's." Because they're open 24 hours and there's people in here, and somebody is going to be a positive lead or a sell for me. And then eventually, they started banning him from the Denny's that he was going to, because, as it would happen, people were complaining that, "Hey, you got this guy in here that's trying to sell me stuff." And so he said that happened at Denny's, it happened at Carroll, it happened at IHOP, it happened at some other restaurant that's open 24 hours that I don't remember. But the point is that he was so focused and diligent about what he does. That's what made him a $6 million a month guy, And so he said that when he got banned from all those different places, that did not stop him. It did not deter him. He said, he was explaining that he would say to his wife, there's some place that is going to be open 24 hours. So he ended up going to Cedars-Sinai Hospital and went This is like the craziest shit ever. But I know somebody else like that, and they do very well at what they do. But anyways, he went to Cedars-Sinai Hospital, and because obviously they're open, and he went to to go in, and the guard said, "Hey man, the visiting hours are over." And he said back in the day when he started, you couldn't have all your stuff on a little tablet, so he started, many years ago when he had to carry these big, basically like rolling suitcases around, with all of his presentation stuff in there. And so, and the security guard was telling him, hey dude, you can't, come in. Visiting hours are over. So he said, well, no, I'm not here to visit. I'm the financial whatever for some of the nurses up in the pediatric ward, and they asked me to come and see them. And on the 5th floor, I believe. And the guy said, no, that's not on the 5th floor. That's on the 7th floor or whatever. And so the guy wrote him out a pass. He slapped that on his chest, and he went up there, and he said that he would use that same line and started talking to the different nurses because he was up there. And so because he felt like he believed he needed to be there, they felt like he was supposed to be there. Does that make sense to you guys? Because he felt like he was supposed to be there, they felt like he was supposed to be there. Does that make sense? He, in his heart and mind and soul, was willing to do whatever it took, focus, to get to his end goal. And so subsequently, from doing that one thing, from pushing his own personal boundaries, if you will, he ended up doing $600,000 from the different doctors and nurses and what have you, that because once he got in the door, he was able to, expand his reach. Because once he was in the door and got his first sale from a nurse, then she then subsequently turned him on to a buddy of hers. And so, and there it went, and then to a doctor, and then another nurse, and then a couple of more nurses, then another doctor, and then so on and so forth. So in 1 year, from Cedars-Sinai Hospital, he was able to close $600,000 in business. And so, that's a huge takeaway, right? Persistence beget or created $600,000 for this guy in a year from just Cedars-Sinai Hospital. That's amazing, right? To me, that's amazing. Maybe not to you guys, but to me, that's crazy. That's like ridiculous stuff. And now let's take that back to us, to you, to myself, and let's look at the stuff that we are doing or not doing, and saying that we're in business. Like I'm telling you that I make decent money, but I am making far less money than what I should be making, because I have the knowledge base, just like you all have the knowledge base. Everybody on this call, I know you're bright, I know you're intelligent, and I know you know stuff that has value to it, and you can take that value, that stuff and sell it to somebody else. And I know that to be a fact, because you're on this call, right? You're trying to glean more information. You're trying to learn more stuff. So I want to, I spent the $300 and for this 2-day conference. And once again, I didn't want to go, but I was really glad that I did go at the end of the day. And I didn't buy anybody's stuff because, everybody's pitching stuff, and I didn't, buy all their stuff. But what it did for me was I had all these little takeaways, and all these little takeaways were told me that, damn it, Pascal, dude, you know this shit. You are these people. The difference is that your punk ass is not doing the work. You want the money, but you're not doing the work. Does that make sense? I mean, these people, none of them are any brighter than you all. None of them are any brighter than anybody on this call right now. I guarantee you that. None of them are any brighter than I am, because I know a lot of stuff. But the difference between those people that have made millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, is that they put what they knew out into the world and into action with a focus behind it. That's it. That is it. No difference between them and you. No difference between them and I. None. Zero. Nada. And so I'm saying all this stuff, and I constantly include myself, because I am you. You are me. We are the same. The people on this call, we are all the same. We are all trying to get somewhere. We are all trying to borrow a phrase, we're all trying to create a legacy or leave a legacy for our children, for our family, however, right? Our wife, our husband, or whomever. We want to leave our mark on this world. We don't want to just walk away and just be like billions and billions of other people that have left this planet without leaving their mark on it, right? And that is my objective. When I go, I want to have left something behind that my son, his kids, whenever he has them, and his kids can eat off of the plate that I created. Does that make sense? And I believe that everybody on this call is trying to do the same thing. It might be like I have a huge family, so I want to position myself so that I'm able to, for my nieces and nephews and all this other stuff, I want them to have an easier path in life than the average person. And then the only way, their parents are obviously working on those things so that their kids, but I want to participate in that for my nieces and nephews, for my brothers and my sisters, and so on and so forth. I want to participate in their life and create enough financial wealth that I'm able to do for my family overall, and for my son in particular. Right? And I know I have the knowledge. And so I'm going to move on and tell you guys, something that is really freaking ridiculous. Okay? So one of the ways that Denise, who I adore, right? I absolutely adore, my business partner. She's, my son's mother. First my wife, then my son's mother, because my son's mother is actually my outside of my wife, my most trusted friend. Because we just, we raised our child together even though we were separated. And so Valerie is like, she's my ace, you know what I mean? And I mean, she's older than my wife, so she treats Valerie, my son's mother, treats my wife like it's her younger sister. All my wife's, my wife has a bunch of expensive purses. I haven't had to buy one of them, right? Well, that's not true. I did buy some purses from my son's mother when she needed some money. But the point is, all my wife's expensive purses have come from my son's mother, not from me, right? Because every year she'll buy her a Louis bag, or Dooney and Burke, or all these other crazy names. I don't even know what the hell they are. But they're supposed to be something really nice, and because I'm not into that crap. I wear the same shirt, the same jeans, and the same jacket I've had for, I think the newest pair of clothes I have are probably 2 years old when I went on vacation to Puerto Rico, right? Because I had to buy some new clothes because my wife made me, because she didn't want me to look like a bum on vacation. But I'm not into that stuff. But anywho, I kind of got off track there. So the thing I want you guys to understand is that we are so we are so there. I went to this thing, and I'm sorry. So Denise, let me get back to that. had got me to, one of her things that convinced me to show up was she was like, oh, Pascal, there's these people that are going to be there, and they're going to they have a program, and it's they're showing people how to get $150,000. I'm sorry, no nothing, no credit, no this, no that, no all this other crap, right? And so I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta go to that. 150 grand, really? Okay, it sounds like like it's some BS, but let me go see, because I can't imagine John Shin having somebody that is going to be there at his event selling anything that would be just utter BS, right? So I go. And Denise has already talked to these people, and so she introduces me to this guy named Bill. And she said, hey, Bill's the guy who does the 150 grand funding and all this other stuff, right? And I'm like, okay. So I had to start having this conversation with this Bill guy. Come to find out, he uses the same places that I send my clients through. No difference. You know what the difference was between Bill and I? Bill and his company, Pass Financial, are out there at places like this conference, right? They're out there. They're taking 10%. Let me tell you something else, though. I charge $5,000 for what I do, and I work with a person for my $5,000. I work with a person for an entire year. They don't do that. But they're taking 10% of every dime they get for a person. And now let me tell you what's so funny about all that. I'm having a conversation with this guy, and once he, I guess, realizes that I understand the business and so on and so forth, I'm starting to give him stuff, and he's writing it down. He's like, oh, really? So SoFi this and that and the other, because I don't really use SoFi. And so he's writing this crap down. And he gives me a few places that I hadn't heard of before, but let me explain something to you guys. Those few places that he was telling me about, I've heard of them. I've heard of them because I've looked them up on the internet. But, to the average consumer, right, which is not you all, the average consumer says, oh my God, you can give me $150,000 for my business? That is awesome, right? And it's the way they're phrasing stuff that sounds like it's so awesome, but it's no different than what we're learning, what you guys are learning on these calls from me. But he's out there making a shitload of money because he's taking the time to go out to these different venues like the Think and Grow Rich tour. He and his staff, he had a couple of attractive women with him, which is, it's always good for sales, right? And a couple of laptops, and he has people put in all their pertinent information, and then they will subsequently go out and apply for business line of credit cards for these people, right? Because part of what he has you fill out is basically, I'm having brain fade. Somebody help me out here. Basically giving them permission to apply for credit for them, right? And that's why he has the little laptops there, so you can get on, fill it out, put your name, put your social, this other stuff, and then basically digitally sign saying that they can fill out.
Limited power of attorney.
Thank you. I appreciate that, whoever that was. But my thing is that I was like, oh my God, what is the difference between this guy and Pascal Dominique Mansell? What is the difference? Nothing. Other than, as far as knowledge base, I'll say, but other than the fact that he's making more money than me because he has placed himself out there like I have not done. Does that make sense? I work within my small grouping, and he's expanding himself by going out to these different trade shows, conferences like the Think and Grow Rich Legacy Tour and all this other stuff. And this dude is killing the game. So he's gonna naturally make more money than Pascal because he's out there in a way in which I am not. Does everybody, are you getting what I'm trying to explain to you all? You know, there is no difference between you, just like there's no difference between me and that guy other than what he's doing to make more money than me, and you and the next person doing your business that's making more money than you, other than the fact that they're out there killing the game. They're out there focused on their business and pushing it to the next level. So therefore, they're going to make more money than you. But as far as knowledge base, we all know the truth about knowledge, especially in the day of the internet. Knowledge is a click away for us, right? And as business people, I don't give a crap what you're doing. You know that quite often, just like I do, just like my other business partner Joy knows, right? Because Joy does all the credit stuff for me. We all know, just like you got to go out and you got to be willing to do the stuff that the other people are not doing, y'all. Right? So, when I'm dealing with somebody and one of my clients says to me, well, hey, Pascal, I'm having an issue with this, that, and the other, and I need to figure out, you know what I do? I say, okay, no problem. You know what? I'll get back to you on that, and we'll make this happen. I take my fat butt, get on my computer, and I will research it, which they're apparently not willing to do, right? And I'll research it and come back with a very clean, sound answer to their question or problem. Are we all grasping this? So we, as business people, as entrepreneurs, have everything we need at this very second in time to achieve whatever it is that we're trying to achieve financially, however we're trying to grow our business, however we're trying to, get to whatever point or level that we're trying to get to. We have it right here, right now. This Bill guy, right? Once again, knowledge base. Obviously, I don't know everything this gentleman knows. That would be foolish to even say that. But I know how to go out and get what he knows. Right? And I know that I have enough right here, right now, that I could go out, do exactly what he's doing, because he had people lined up at those computers, not a lot, but enough. He had the people lined up at the computers, just happily putting their information in. And the conversation that I had with the guy, Bill, is that, I'll say, well, dude, so how's everything going, because I'm nosy. And he was like, oh, it just depends on where we're getting our leads from. He goes like, it all just depends, so a lot of people, that we get, they're not really the best leads, and so we really can't do anything for them. And here's the other side of the coin also. They don't do credit repair, which is crazy to me. Personally, that's crazy because they're leaving so much money on the table. But my assumption is that they're going through, they're generating so much money that they don't even care about the money that gets left on the table. Does that make sense? Because they're out there pushing that one specific piece of their business, which is having people fill out the little form. Then they will subsequently go and start applying for credit, take 10% of whatever they raise for a person, which is a lot of money, man. And when they get that 10%, then they will, that's their money. So if they raise $300,000 for somebody, hypothetically, that's $30,000. And I don't like doing that to people because what the payments are on $30,000? It's a lot of money, right? And then not only the payments you have to consider, but then you also have to consider the interest. And as I've mentioned to you all before, like if you go to a place like, which I do use, don't get it twisted, but if you go to a place like Marcus by Goldman Sachs, on $20,000, you're going to pay 500 and some change every month on $20,000. 500 and some change every month. So the interest rate is ridiculous. But for a lot of people, they need that $20,000, so we'll use Marcus by Goldman Sachs. So think about it. They're no different. they're gonna give people those 20 grand loans from Marcus by Goldman Sachs. Then they're gonna take 10% of that, which is $2,000, right? No, I'm sorry, which is $4,000. No, wait, am I tripping? 10%, yeah, $2,000. I'm so sorry. That's $2,000. So a person's going to make interest payments on that $2,000, pay back that $2,000 plus an extra whatever it is on top of that $2,000, and then you that's just one place. Now you get another 10 grand or 20 grand or 15 grand or 30 grand from another place, and it starts to add up really quick. And that's why I just like charging a person $5K, and we work diligently with them. And we even will do, help the person with their credit, do the credit repair part. They're not doing any of that stuff. And so what I'm trying to, explain, I'm not just trying to talk about my business, but what I'm trying to explain to you all is that, there are people that are doing so much and just killing the game because they're out there, they're doing it, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm trying to glean or learn from people like this Bill guy. I still, once again, don't like that, the 10% thing, but I see what he's doing, which is he's placed himself out there. He's going around to the different conferences. He's paying whatever his fees are with people like John Shin, so he can be a part of their conference and go around, traveling around with these different places and getting money for the people that show up at these conferences. And one thing about people that show up at these conferences, they're hyped up. They're hyped up. They're ready to go. They want to make $1 trillion tomorrow, type of thing. And so when you can say, hey, here's an opportunity for you to get $100,000 to support your business. Here's an opportunity for this. Here's an opportunity for that. When you're able to say those type of things, you're going to have a ton of people that are going to sign up with you, right? And so they're promoting their business in a way that I'm not, and I need to take heed to that and start doing the same thing. And you all on this call need to look around and see what the people are doing in your industry that are doing better than you, and start and take heed to what they are doing, and then subsequently do the same thing. Subsequently promote yourself in the way that they're promoting themselves, right? And we need to start doing that more and more and more and more and more. We need to, generate more capital so we can take care of ourselves first, and then take care of our families and whomever else we so desire to take care of and do things for. So I just really wanted to get that out there. I felt that was extremely important to get, to just explain all that. And I hope I didn't bore the crap out of you guys with all that stuff. But I want to say one other thing, and then I'll answer any questions you all may have, what have you. But I want to say one other thing about me going to this conference. So as I mentioned to you all earlier, I am starting a business with my son, and that business is called 60 Second Stand Up, right? And so the idea, my son is into, he works in the film industry and whatnot, but he does a lot of gig work, so he'll work on, he'll work on like, let's say, a Netflix project that might work for like, I don't know, he worked on a show. It lasted for a month. The job was like a month or two long. And then, he went from there to working on some commercial, and from there to working on, some other commercial. And then from there, so, and I was like, I have this idea in my brain, and I want to do something that I can help my son have something, including myself, that he can build and develop. And so I came up with this concept a while back called 60 Second Stand Up. And then subsequently I also bought the domain name 60 Second Dance Off, 60 Second Entertainment, 60 Second song or singing or some crap. But I bought all of them because, there's a lot of money, whether you all know it or not, but there's a lot of money in content, right? Especially content where you're not trying to sell people anything, and then you allow commercials to play around that. So with this 60-second entertainment, which is the first leg under the umbrella of with 60-second stand-up, which is the first leg of the under the umbrella of 60-second entertainment. The concept is that we're getting comedians, from all around the world to give us or submit videos that are 60 seconds long, and that will, we'll put them across all our different platforms and promote them. And then comedians that submit their stuff, just by sending it in to us, just so that they can promote themselves, we are, at the end of every month, we're giving away $500 to the funniest video, right? Two things: the funniest video and the video with the most views and likes and what have you. We're giving that person $500. So far, I've had two winners. The first guy was a guy named Minuan Hart out of New York. I sent him his $500. I got another guy that we're sending him $500 to this week, actually, because he's last month's winner. So my point is that I'm spending the money to put this thing together, and ironically, I had this idea. I'm like, wow, I'm having a hard time getting people to submit videos. So I was talking to my son, and I was like, dude, I'm just going to start reaching out to comedians. Actually, my son came up with the idea of reaching out to comedians and seeing if they would submit something. And then, ironically, and this is how the universe works, y'all. So ironically, I was like, well, okay, cool. My son was like, I'll start emailing all these different comedians I can find on Instagram, Facebook, or wherever I can find them. And I was like, cool. And then I started doing the same thing, creating a list on comedians that I found on different, like the Comedy Store, their roster, this other comedy place, yada, yada. So I have this long list. And I'm like, okay, I got to start contacting these comedians. And I was like, well, shit, why don't I, instead of saying, hey, submit your stuff and you can win $500, why don't I just say, look, I'll pay you $50 to submit a 60-second video, right? It's worth it to me because I can start building our content that way. And, screw it, it's $50, right? So, even if I got to spend $5,000 on getting people to submit their videos, so I can build up enough content so I can get people to start watching the channel, I'm winning. So I went to this conference, and just by coincidence, there's a young lady, and that's one of the reasons that we should all be going out to these different things, even though we really don't want to, because the universe works in a very, very succinct manner. Because this whole 60-second stand-up thing is so on my mind that, my energy flow, I don't want to get into all that crap because a lot of you guys aren't ready for all that, but, my flow in my mind is on the 60-second stand-up thing really tough. So sure enough, while Denise and I are out there talking, having our lunch, this young lady comes and sits behind Denise. And so, not to be rude, I introduce myself. Hey, how you doing? Yada yada, And she goes, oh, I'm doing good, and so we get into a conversation, and she goes, oh no, I'm a stand-up comedian, and I was like, what the, I cuss a lot, y'all. So, but I'll leave that word out. So, but what the hell? That is awesome. And so I told her about the 60-second stand-up thing, and she's like, I can help you with that. I am deep in the comedy world in LA. And I was like, are you kidding me? And she's like, please, here. She looked me up, Lila Hart. Boop, boop, boop. And she looks herself up on my phone, and I'm like, she has all these different shows. She has she's a disabled person, and so she has a show that she does. She just got a contract to go into like she was doing like filming out of her house, out of her apartment for her show that she does. She has all these stand-ups online. She all this different crap that she has going on. She got a contract to go actually now produce her show in a real studio at a real place, you know. So she's moving and grooving, and it was just so, you know, just awesome that you know, she was there, and that we were able to have this conversation. I believe it's because it's my thought process is so deep into this 60-second stand-up thing that I'm doing with my boy, that, you know, the universe just kind of brought us together. And then, oh my God, when I told her I'm paying $50, she was like, you don't have to pay $50, but if you want to pay $50, not a problem, you know. But that's way more than you need to pay, because she started talking about the same thing that I had read in an article just days prior about how all these comedians that work in LA and all these other big cities, most of them don't get paid anything, or they get paid $20-$25 to go show up at the Comedy Store or the Laugh Factory or any of these other places you can think about. I did not know that, right? You know, these stores, the Comedy Store and all these other places, they're like, hey, we're giving you a stage and an opportunity to promote yourself. So we're only going to give you $20, and if you're really fresh, they're not, you know, new on the scene, they're not going to give you a dime, but they'll give you, you know, 10, 15 minutes of stage time, which to these comedians is big. So a lot of them are doing it for the art of it, you know, because it's their passion, right? They're willing to put themselves out there for free or for very little because it's their passion, right? It's their focus. And so talking to Lila, it was just like magic. So now I have somebody that is going to get all these comedian friends that she has, plus use her 30-some-odd thousand followers on Instagram to promote it for me for a little of nothing. And then the next day, so Saturday, I ran into her again. Then she introduced me to a buddy of hers, a young man by the name of Johnny, who is also a comedian. And Lila was like, tell him about your product or your program. And I did. He's like, oh, dude. He goes, I have dozens of comedian friends that would love to submit stuff. And he had come up to the thing to film Lila at the conference on the little red carpet thing they had, you know, talking to some of the speakers. And so he goes, I have all the film equipment, which he did. He had all the professional film equipment. And he was saying, dude, and I have all these guys he said, but the only thing I'm going to ask you is, he said, because they're not going to want, they'll do it for $20-$25. Right? And I'm like, okay. And he said, so pay me the 50. And pay me the 50, then I'll get you as many comedians as you could stand. You know? And I was like, how awesome is that, right? Are you guys getting what I'm trying to put across to you all? Anybody? Are you understanding? You know, it's your focus in your intent. Right? Your focus and your intent is literally creating what I need to occur, is bringing the people into my existence that I need to work with. Focus and intent. I've mentioned focus many, many times because that was one of my biggest takeaways from the 2-day conference that I was at. Okay? Focus and intent. Focus and intent. And so now, today, I'm going to meet up with these two people via phone, right? Because I'm not driving out to LA, and get this thing popping, right? And I think I will manifest, create, bring into existence for my son, an awesome business. Are you guys getting that? I mean, it's like it's the most awesome thing ever. And so I don't have to really like just be stuck on that business, because that's why I created it with my son, because my focus and intent is to develop my primary business. But I can still help my son and take half the profits because, I'm a businessman. But I can still help my son build and develop something that is ridiculously awesome, right? And because my focus and intent is on and I don't like to be divided, right? But in this particular instance, I'm doing it because I want to help my son create something that I believe will benefit him in so many different ways in his chosen field, which is in the film industry. This as his calling card, this business, 60-second entertainment, with 60-second stand-up under it, and 60-second dance-off under it, and 60-second sing or whatever song or whatever it's called. I forgot. I have to look at the domain names. But the 60-second stand-up thing alone, if he can have where he's getting 1 million views a month, you know what 1 million views a month equals out to, right? 1 million views a month can equal out to $10,000 or $20,000 in income revenue from the advertisers, So I would love to take half of that and give him the other half, right? But at the end of the day, it will all be his business because it's not my entire focus, right? But for my business, my core business, as I've said over and over again, I'm becoming more focused on it, and I'm trying to glean and understand from people who are doing better than me to make my business better. All right, and so I wanted to we're coming close to the end of this call. I'm really hoping, because we talk about the financial part of stuff a lot, which is important because we all know our motto, right, that we've borrowed from Donna J. Fox Esquire, which is it's easier to what, y'all? It's easier to borrow $10 million than it is to earn it. We know that to be a fact. But we also have to have businesses to support the monies that we've borrowed. And so I want all of us to work together to chop it up, to help one another develop our businesses, right? Share information to just do what we can for one another. I have a Facebook page called Business Funding and Development. If you guys want to, go there and sign up. As a matter of fact, all these videos that we do for Power Monday Mastermind are on Business Funding and Development. Okay? And so, all you have to do is go, you sign up, and then I'll approve you. Because I have it as a closed group. So then I'll approve you, and you can, ask questions in there, market your business, because that's what it's for. It's on Facebook, and it's called Business Funding and Development. So you go to Facebook, and then you just type in the search queue, Business Funding and Development. And let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Forgive me, you all. So the people that are on So just basically it's facebook.com/groups/business funding and development. If you do that, you should be there. Oh, I got to log back into Facebook because I had logged out. But just do what I just mentioned, and you'll be golden. And you'll be able to sign up for business funding and development. There's a ton of people in there that are offering all kinds of stuff. My suggestion is, because a lot of these people have not been vetted, I just don't take the time to do it, to be perfectly honest with you. But I started business funding and development as a way of, reaching out to people. And so we have, at least, I don't even do anything with that site other than upload videos and a couple of bits of information here and there. But it's really taken off and is growing on its own. So go to facebook.com/groups/business funding and development. Sign up. I'll approve you. And then, start, you can promote your business in there, I don't care what, as long as it's in the business arena, financial arena, taxes, whatever, you can promote yourself in there. Everybody else is doing it. You might as well do it as well. So that's that. Yeah.
Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Sure. Facebook/groups, or just go to Facebook, right? And then in the search queue, put in business, funding, and development. Business, funding, and development. It's a group in Facebook. And I'll approve whoever signs up. I'll approve you later in the day. And once again,
good morning, Pascal.
Go on there and promote your business. I'm sorry?
Okay, I got it. Business funding and development. All right.
Yes, ma'am. And that's it. Anybody else have any questions?
Yes. Good morning, Pascal. My good
morning,
buddy. This is Denise. How are you?
Hey, what's up, D?
I'm
doing awesome.
Call. What an awesome call. And I want to say thank you for coming out to the Think and Grow Rich World Tour, the first one ever, and we have multiples going on. I'm enjoying your call this morning. I'm going to get on Shin's call here in a second. And I'm so happy that you were able to get so much value and takeaway. And I just want to let your callers know that everything that Pascal has just mentioned in this past hour is absolutely true. We were at the event together. It was a 2-day event. I was there for like 10 hours, and I think he cut out a little bit because it was a lot. It was a lot of information, great speakers, and everything that he said was true. When you get together in a room, and the whole point of the Think and Grow Rich World Tour, which is to come off the 13 principles of Think and Grow Rich, and to apply those to your business. And when you come into a room where everybody has the same alignment and the same mastermind as what Pascal was saying, he has this comedy thing that's on his mind, and literally we're sitting having lunch, and truth, this woman came and sat behind me. I didn't even know she was behind me, and then Pascal says, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I turned around because he started talking. I didn't realize someone was behind me. And lo and behold, she's a comedian. So you never know who you might meet. You never know what connection. The guy with the credit and everything, also Bill, that was there. Yes, I had met him that day and then saw Pascal, and I said, "Hey, you want to connect with this guy, maybe be an affiliate? You guys can work together and collaborate." And you just meet so many people. And once again, of like mind, everybody's coming out wanting to learn some type of nuggets, whatever you do. An ex-client of mine who's since passed, unfortunately, said, if you learn one thing, well worth it, well worth going. And when I invited Pascal, I knew he was going to show up to support me. I'm part of the Think and Grow Rich Tour now. Graduated from the academy class and going to become a coach here in a moment. But we're traveling around, all around the world, actually. 15 cities in the United States and 12 countries. We're going to be in Chicago in the next 2 weeks on 18 and 19. Go to the TGRworldtour.com. Get your tickets there. And then thereafter, I think it's the week after, and I don't have the date, we're going to be in San Diego. Well worth going.
Oh, give them your number. If anybody's interested, call Denise directly.
My phone number is 310-612-1739. 310-612-1739. You can also go to the TGRworldtour.com. We have discounts. Enter discount code DESIRE. That is the first principle of becoming wealthy, rich, because there is a difference. Becoming rich is in your life, and it is my favorite, and that's my code. Get $200 discount off of whatever packages. There's 2-for-1. There's 1 day. The seminar is actually 2 days, but there's 1 day ticket prices. So go on there, take a look at it, come join me, come see me. And we have a lot of great things going on. And again, just business people, people of mastermind. Tim Story was speaking. I saw him yesterday at his church because he also is a pastor. And I met him I had met him before, but I met him at the conference because I'm part of the tour. I get to take hands with everybody who's speaking there, which was really cool because not because of celebrity status. It's just these people are business people and willing to help you. They'll answer any questions that you have. You can come up to them. They're so approachable. Many of them give you their phone numbers. And how would you like to have Kevin Harrington's phone number? You know, he was the original guy from Shark Tank. And he was awesome guy.
Dude. He was like really giving like here's my information. I thought that was really good. Hold on. Just one more thing. Just so everybody knows who the Kevin Harrington guy is. You know, so everybody has seen those as seen on TV logos. He's the guy who owns that. So whenever you see as seen on TV, that is actually his branding. He started off with back in the day with the Ginso knives, or what are they called? Ginso?
Oh yeah, he said it was the Ginso knives.
Yes. That was the first thing that he started with. Ginso knives, yeah. And so
he filled in cable time. Yeah, he filled in cable time. He saw a need, and it's like, hey, you don't have anything going on from this time to this time. How about if I fill in that ad? And he goes to one of these places where they have these conferences, and he sees this guy who's doing the Ginso knife, and he saw all these people coming up to him, and he goes, hey, and buying his stuff, and he didn't have any TV presence because this is when cable was just coming out. And he said, hey, how would you like to collaborate with me? How about if I put you in front of all these TV, pay you this, blah, 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 and then millionaires. He came in. So they were just running ads on this cable channel that did not have any airtime for very little to nothing. And that's where it all began, and that's where he got his start. And then from there, he got approached with this new program called the Shark Tank. And the rest, as you keep saying, is history. And he just, from that little idea, he kept, as Pascal said, persistent. Just keep going at it. Believe in what you do. Believe in your business. And it will definitely take off. You got to have that desire. But you know, the desire is not enough. The desire is hoping and wishing for something to happen, which we all have when we first get started. But it is the extreme are the ones who actually make it happen. And that is your burning desire. Because at that point, it becomes extreme. It becomes what you actually propel out there, because nothing is going to stop you. Your focus, your mindset, you don't care how many no's that you get, no's become yeses, and it's just so powerful. The stuff that I've learned at the academy, I'm so grateful that I'm going to be able to go and coach, but I'm not even 100% there. But anyways, the subconscious mind, I didn't know. What you put in it is what it goes out. It does not know how to say no. It does not know to argue with you, to change your mind. No. What you tell it is what it's going to put out there. So you say, I'm going to make $1 million by the end of this year. You're going to make $1 million because it doesn't know how to tell you, you're full of crap. No, it does not know how to tell you. And me, being the accountant, I'm going, how does that work? How does it? And it's just mind blowing. So the subconscious mind, if you tell it you're ugly, you're ugly. If you tell it you're broke, which is why many of us stay broke. Because what you tell your subconscious mind is what it's going to do. It does not know how to change your opinion. It doesn't.
It's
Who
natural.
changes the opinion is the conscious mind that changes the opinion. But the subconscious mind will never, never, never change. What you give it is what it puts out. So start giving it positive energy, positive attitude, positive, positive, positive. Change your mindset and become positive.
And surround yourself
Thank you.
with like-minded people.
Absolutely. And so I'm going to get off this call because I have to get on the Shin's call. And I appreciate you coming out. What you say you do, Pascal, is the real deal. So he says he's going to be there, he's going to be there. He showed up. He got some nuggets, met some people, and I can hear it in his voice. He's ready to take off again. And sometimes we just need that energy to refuel us and get going. We get stuck. We get stalemate. And then we go to one of these conferences like, yeah, that's right. I forgot about this. I forgot about that. You're right. I've known about this. So anyways, you guys have a fabulous week. You have my phone number, 310-612-1739. Give me a call. Give me a text. I'm going to be on another call, so give me a text. And it's going to be on for an hour. So I'll holler at you right after. So it's been a pleasure, Pascal. We'll talk later, as usual. And you guys have a blessed day. Thank you.
All right. Take care, D. So anybody, if you have anything that you want to ask, say, or add, we're running a little bit over. And if you don't, I wanted to say one more thing. So, PayPal has two different programs that I wanted to mention to you all. And, PayPal, I've mentioned to you all in the past, I've gotten 3 separate, loans from PayPal because I have a PayPal account, and 3 separate loans. The last one was a gross of $21,000 and no credit check, no nothing, right? And, PayPal is awesome to me. So think about that. If you do business with PayPal over a period of time, they will take their money back out of the monies that you get in, so they take a percentage. You can adjust that percentage, whether I think the lowest is like 15%, the highest is 30%. And I always just do 30% because I want it over with. And, but on 3 different occasions, I've gotten money from PayPal, and it's just, it takes about, for me anyway, it takes them about 8 months, depending on 8 months to 12 months for me to pay off the 20 grand. Well, that's not quite true. 12 months is going to be to pay off the 20 grand because of the volume of dollars I have coming through my PayPal account right now. To pay off that 21 grand, it's going to take about 12 months. I'm sorry? I didn't hear what you said. I apologize. You have to speak up louder. But the bottom line is, you guys check out PayPal because they do have, different financing programs, and I think it might be advantageous to you. So they have their PayPal business loan, which right now it says best suited for business with at least 9 months in business, and it goes from $42,000 in annual revenue, right? That's what they want from you, $42,000 in annual revenue. Your PayPal business account is required to fund your loan. Proceeds payments will be, deposited into your PayPal account. And so this particular loan for the business is from $5,000 to $500,000. And then they have the PayPal working capital loan, which is the one that I've gotten, and that one goes anywhere from $1,000 to $125,000. And let's see, best suited for existing PayPal customers that have had PayPal business accounts for at least 90 days and have proceeds of $15,000 plus with PayPal with a minimum of 12 months. So, but either one. So if for you all that don't have long-term PayPal accounts or don't have a PayPal account at all, You need to create one and start sending, because PayPal is an awesome payment system. And so it's just a suggestion. You do what you want to do. But, PayPal has worked out really wonderfully for me personally. I can't say it will or won't work out for you, but it's an option out there for you. And I can't stress it enough that, they're giving out money, right? And so, and especially like with the working capital, no credit check. So I have no dings on my credit, which I love, right? And I just check it out. I'm sitting here battling because I'm trying to do two things at once now. But anyways, y'all, I hope that you all got something from this call. And if you want to hire me, utilize my services, just call me. All that texting stuff, that's great. Emailing me, that's great as well. But I'm kind of old fashioned, so if you want to talk to me, pick up the phone and just call me, 951-515-4728. And that's it, y'all. Have an awesome day, and thank you once again for coming on the call. I greatly appreciate all of you guys. I really do. Thank you. Take care.